Ready? Golly. We can segue into recruiting a little bit because you've had former players help you on the recruiting trail. I think Gabby sent emails to us about players overseas. Is that right?
She has, yeah. She's sent emails to our soccer coaches, so she's always, when she thinks of somebody or is involved, and I think that's what she will do after basketball. She was a double major here, psychology, sports management. I love what you said last year and you talked about, it's nice to hear from obviously people when you win, but it means even more when you're in a position where maybe you weren't successful that day or had a great game and you hear from alums, and that to me is what we talked about, them understanding what the program's about. They've learned something. So
talk about Chloe's situation in Australia. That's not around the corner.
Well,
right?
Chloe was a really great, obviously, find for us. It was during the transition period, me into the head coaching, so we were recruiting her as an assistant, but a former player, Renee Johnson-Allen, who is a member of our 2013 WNIT National Championship team, and she saw Chloe and said, I think this player will fit like what you're looking for. So how she ended up here is really due to a former player, just knowing what we're about, knowing what we're looking for, and Chloe has certainly grown, and she's doing the same now as she talks to, we see an Australian, we of course go to our source, hey Chloe, what do you know about this kid? So, and how about you?
Yeah, I think that you start with former players. It's always relationships. You want to make sure you've got some contacts that you know and trust, right? So I think it starts with that. We've had success internationally. You go back to Myerscough Academy, taking a trip over because we had Mate Oker scheduled on a visit, so we went there to see his family. And while we're there, they've got this guy, Mari Williams, walking around, and so we got Mate. That certainly probably made Mari more comfortable coming to Drexel. And then we still talk. Neil Hopkins is a great friend and came last year to see them both play here. It's sometimes harder in some ways. In other ways, it's easier, right? Because you can't always get there right now. So film is so critical. I know we both use it a ton, but when you can watch someone and break down what they do and kind of compare it to other players, I think that's a big part. So how important is film in your recruiting process?
To me, I have to see someone live, that's really important, but I think the film and just seeing tendencies, and you can see a lot more because you might miss it in person sometimes. You can go back. As we know, we hit rewind a lot and then we clip and then we watch it again. So anytime we're preparing for anything we do a lot of that. So I think that's a big piece of our recruiting process.
Now you say there's more out there. I can put myself in a category of overthinking things because now you get a little bit of paralysis by analysis. But I made like a little bit of a checklist, just I could sit there. I don't always fill it out, but it's what's their body language like, what's their attitude, how they interact with the players. Specifically like watching the 8 a.m., 9 a.m. game on Saturday, meaning your team probably didn't have success, but you're gonna have this other game. What do you like at that time? And I think that shows an awful lot when you can't have the perfect environment and time and all that. How do you respond to it? So I love seeing guys in different settings, but you got to see them more than once, and you got to communicate.